Since you went to the five forward power play unit, some of the scoring on defense is down a bit. Is that something that you look at? Are you concerned about that? Do you need more scoring from your defense?
I don't think the two are related, to be honest. The guy that would be getting some points would have been Theo, so I would say his scoring would be down. It has nothing to do with the other five guys. Hanny was out, so sometimes he plays that. We would like more secondary scoring from our defense and some other people in the lineup. Why is that down? We'll stick to the D. Execution of getting pucks to the net from the blue line at times. When it does arrive on time, I think we've scored some goals on rebounds. Reinhardt, I can remember, Barbashev the other night. I think that's a little bit of the problem right now, is the connection between the puck getting there and then the forwards being there and then tippable pucks. I think we can do a much better job in that area in the O-zone. Shooting for offense as opposed to maybe scoring. The points would go up, maybe not the goals, but the points. So we've got to continue to sort of sell that idea. Joining the rush might be a little bit of product of how the guys play. I think Lauzon jumped up the other night. He's willing to do it, scores a goal. I think you saw it with Hanifin. He's been all over it. That's his game. Some of the other guys, it's less their game. They're worried about taking care of their own end. But yeah, there's usually a few guys by now. I'll use Naber as an example that would have a few plays to the net that resulted in goals. So we're definitely missing that. So can I pinpoint every reason why? No, we'd like to build on it. And yes, we need that part to improve.
Might be more of a psychological question than a hockey angle, but after a game like last night where it was so good and then there's challenges, do you focus on the good parts or do you focus on the challenging parts?
I'd call it bad, as opposed to that, it wasn't good, if we're going to use that word. And then we got ourselves in trouble in the third. So to me, it's the first and second are a complete flip of each other, both teams. I think Coop would tell you he's probably not happy with his team's first period, just like I wasn't with our second. I think it was a mirror image of them closing quickly, getting going the other way, and then having O-zone time and executing off the rush and stuff we did in the first period. So this morning we talked about Anaheim a little bit more than we talked about yesterday's game. Right now, that's a team coming in here feeling really good about themselves, scoring lots of goals. So we'll intertwine the two tomorrow in terms of how we kind of present video on what we did well against Tampa in the first period that led to our offensive stuff that's going to have to translate against Anaheim, and stuff we didn't do in the second period that will bite us against Anaheim just like it did with Tampa, because they're two good offensive teams. So that's how I'm looking at it. So I guess both sides. We're focusing on both sides. I will say that we talked about our start, which is 2 in a row now. I thought we started on time, been good. I mean, that was a problem early on. So that is definitely a positive. Might have been our best first period of the year, so we can't overlook that. We've got to fix the rest of it. So, but honestly, that's nothing new. Any game we play, probably we're building, you got to talk about some of the stuff you need to fix. So.
As a coach, when you see signs of maybe frustration or guys are not happy with where their game is, what do you feel like your role is to help them get out of that funk, or what's worked in the past when you've felt like the team was in a funk and they're able to get out of it?
Well, sometimes you switch lines. You've seen a lot of that. That's one of the first things you do. If they're frustrated, why? Is it their line mates that frustrate them? You take them away from that maybe, or after you've done that a few times, you sit them down. It's like a line is, sometimes like a marriage. You got to give and take, and you got to negotiate, and you got to get to the end result you want. So there's a little bit of that. So I use both sides. Sometimes challenging them, sometimes a pat in the back. I think it's all different depending on level of frustration. How long has this been going on? Is this a player that easily gets frustrated and then gets out of it like that? There's some players that are in the moment. They're frustrated, but it's gone a minute later. Other guys get sort of frustrated and then down on themselves, and then it's, well, we got to put this guy in a good position here. We got to pick him up. Or whatever other alternative is, and that could be ice time, more or less. So there's no easy answer on that one, unfortunately. But that's how I look at it.
Bruce, the momentum swing last night, you guys are great in the first, they answer back in the second, but it seems like it's not unique to, you watch other games, 3-0 leads aren't safe. Do you have a rhyme or what can you do to turn the momentum back in your team's favor when you can tell the tide's coming in against you?
Well, what we didn't do was in the third is we put ourselves in trouble kind of with the too many men right away. So that's probably the polar opposite. When things aren't going your way and you get to the intermission and it's 2-2, I mean, you can make an argument, hey, we were really good and they were really good, so that's a wash now, so let's win a period, win a game. It's the oldest expression when you're tied after 2. But so we were not focused on getting going out of the, we didn't get a puck deep, so now there's a bit of stuff going on in front of our bench. Now we don't get the penalty kill. So you're chasing it. So now their momentum is added. They keep building, and we're like, well, what the hell happened? We were really good, not that long ago, and now we're chasing the game. So what do? You take care of the detail. I know it sounds, but like let's just reset and start building our game again, kind of like how we started the game. Play behind them. Start to tilt the ice slowly but surely. You don't have to worry about scoring in the first 2, 3, 4, 5 minutes. Just be the better team for everyone's first shift and see if we can now build it going our way so we put them on their heels. And I think that's what happened in both periods to both teams. They got the other team on their heels and, were able to capitalize. So that's what we would have liked to do in the third. But we didn't help ourselves in the first 30 seconds of that period. So
I guess first things first, what did you guys work on today in practice? Was there a particular emphasis or area of focus?
Kind of a little bit of everything. A lot of battle stuff in the corners and, trying to get loose in front. Obviously, we've been kind of fighting to get some open space and score some more goals. So kind of an onus on that and just, keep working on our power play.
Do you focus more on the positive things from last night, the things that went well, or is it more like let's try to fix what didn't go right last night?
Definitely both. I thought we came out to a good start. It was a really good 20 minutes, and it seemed like we had some mistakes that kind of cost us that kind of turned the tide of the game. But I think just keep focused on our starts and building through the second period will be important tomorrow.
And in terms of frustration, I hate to use that word because I know a lot of guys are like, that's a useless emotion, right? Like, just fix it. But you're veteran enough, everyone in here is veteran enough to know that there's going to be highs and lows in the season. So when things aren't going well and frustration might start to creep in, how do you press through that?
Yeah, just keep it simple. Obviously there's highs and lows in a season, and it seems like a lot of guys are stuck right now, myself included. So just kind of keep battling. Focusing on the small details, the stuff, and try and build your game from there. And that's all we can do.
Is there anything that's worked for you in the past when you're going through a spell where you are a little frustrated, like getting more physically engaged or anything like that?
Yeah, a little bit. I think that's where you want to sharpen up in the D zone. Obviously when you're not giving up much, that's what you want in your game, and the offense will come from there. So that's kind of the focus, and we're gonna keep working on that tomorrow.
And last one, just on Anaheim. I don't think anyone thought that it'd be Vegas and Anaheim battling for first a month into the season, and it's still so early, but they've had a great start. Is there any extra motivation or excitement to face them tomorrow night?
No, yeah, they're a good team. Obviously, both at the top of the division. It seems like the last couple of games they've been scoring a ton of goals, which definitely helps. And, they have a lot of young, fast, big skill in there, and, they're good on the back end too. So it's going to be a tough matchup, and, I think something that, we need at this part of the season to really help turn our game and, take some positives from it.
It's easy to get up for one like that, right? When it's in division, at home.
Absolutely. When it's a tough game against a tough team, this early in the season, it's one that you get up for and, hopefully try and build your game.
Any particular area of focus today at practice?
Some battles down low, getting into the net. These, try to close quick on us forwards, and us forwards obviously have that attacking mentality and get to the net and, try to score goals.
Do you try to focus personally more on what went right in a game like last night, or what needs fixing in a game like last night?
I like to, bring the positives. from that game. We had a great first period, and that's what we strive to do. Obviously, we have to do it for a full 60. But yeah, there were still good moments in that game that we can take with us. But yeah, I guess we can't ignore the bad parts entirely. But for me personally, I like to think about the positives.
Yeah. Well, then unfortunately, I'll follow it up with saying, what do you think is the biggest area that needs improvement right now in this team's game?
Yeah, I guess we let in too many goals there, but I think overall we kind of have to even out the scoring a little bit. It's just the first line that scored goals last night, and us other lines has to chip in and support, and we need to score goals as well, and that's what's going to make us a great team in the future. If we can get that figured out.
You're a veteran guy, and a lot of guys in here are too. So there are times, as you know, where scoring's going to dip. You're going to go through slumps, this and that. What has worked for you in the past to try to get out of that funk?
Just to try to have an attacking mentality, shoot first kind of mentality. Try to get pucks to the net, go to the net, and yeah, I mean, I thought for our line, we had chances last night. We just didn't bury it. So other than not scoring, it was good. We had the chances, and we got to keep creating those chances, and eventually it's going to go in.
And finally, just taking on Anaheim, a team that I think has been a really big surprise for a lot of people to start this season. And here they are in first place in the Pacific. Does that give you guys even more motivation to really bring your best tomorrow night, knowing that it is a divisional matchup?
Definitely. They've been playing really well. They look really loose and relaxed. They look like they're having a lot of fun out there, and they're scoring goals for free, if it feels like. So it's going to be very tough. They've always had the skill, and now they're 1 year older, and they're taking the next step. So we got to be prepared.
When you're in a stretch playing so many Eastern Conference teams, and then is it almost good to get back to playing those divisional matchups that have that extra importance?
I think so. Yeah, exactly. It is a divisional game, so those are always a little more important than the other ones, of course. So yeah, it's going to be a tough game, and we better be prepared.